Let's talk a little bit about some of the final notes that came out of fall camp. The second scrimmage in Jordan-Hare happened on Saturday, but before that, Hugh Freeze surprised all of us and went ahead and announced his starting quarterback for week 1. He made sure to emphasize he is referring to the UMass game. He said very quickly, I'm not saying Payton's going to be our starter come week 12, but I felt in my gut it was time to go ahead and make a call for week 1. It goes back to that chemistry you and I talked about, the timing, the tendencies, and obviously him being able to take over that leadership role. So Payton Thorne has been announced as QB1 for the beginning of season. Hugh Freeze also emphasizing that Robbie Ashford will always have a package. He is not someone who is going to be in the wings for the entirety of season. Hugh Freeze sees and respects his athletic ability and intends to utilize it in this offense. How? We will wait and see. But Payton Thorne obviously has been discussed for his leadership ability, a bit more accurate in that passing game. He eclipsed, I think, right around 60% completion percentage during his time at Michigan State last year. For Robbie, it was right around 49% completion. So obviously that got him the nod, along with some other intangibles, decision-making like we talked about last week, that Hugh Freeze and co saw this fall camp and feel most confident about handing him the reins. Talk to me a little bit about this decision, Jay. I was on a radio show the day after, and they were asking me about the surprise factor and whatnot. And I don't know why, for some reason, it doesn't feel that set in stone to me. And I don't think it can, because this competition has been so evenly matched in terms of, like, if you put them all on a scale, it's just for all different reasons. And so I think whether it's situational, whether it's opponent based, whether it's just good day versus bad day, I'm not convinced that Payton Thorne is going to be the undisputed QB1 for the entirety of this season. And even as recent as this past weekend, Hugh Freeze said Robbie Ashford's past 3 practices were probably the best 3 he has had. This is still a battle in my eyes. I think they've given him the nod for week 1, but the job is not his for the entirety of the season.
Ooh, I say this. Coach is trying to create competitiveness in the room for a season. And what he's trying to do is make sure that these guys don't get comfortable, because if these guys don't get comfortable and they both continue to work really hard, then it's going to help this football team at the end of the season. You'll look back and say, man, like, what an outstanding year we was able to have, because our guys up top never got comfortable. They kept pushing each other. And for Payton Thorne, he has to say this because he's never coached Payton Thorne. You know, he's never been in a game with Payton Thorne. Like, he's been able to watch his film. He's been able to see what he's done at Michigan State. But, you know, they just come off a tough record as well last year, just like Auburn came off a tough record. So, you know, he wants to see these guys in an environment going against another team. Right now, neither one of them have been put in a tough environment because it's only been against their teammates. And the one thing you know about your teammates, if you go against someone for 3-4 weeks, you learn their tendencies. So you tend to do things based off what you're seeing in front of you from a daily basis. But I think it's a great problem to have. I really do, because you're going to need both of these guys to get through this season. We've seen our schedule. You're always one injury away anyways when you play that position. So everyone has got to be prepared. Even Holden needs to be prepared, because you know how freakish of an athlete Robbie is. You know, that means he puts himself out there more at risk sometimes, knock on wood, for like an injury or something. So he has to be prepared as well.